This is the Speak For Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. It's draft night, America, and Whitlock's off celebrating his 50th birthday. I'm fired up. Hope you are too. The Browns are on the clock, and we talk about what makes the most sense for Cleveland at number 1, and will they screw it up? I tell you why Deshaun Watson is a no-brainer and lock to have a better NFL career than Dak Prescott. Of course, the guys disagree with me. Cowherd compares buying a pool in Phoenix to Kirk Cousins and says in life, there's some things you just have to overpay for. Super Bowl champ Eric Davis tells you that the Browns have done nothing to make you believe they will get the first pick right. Russell Westbrook really likes Oklahoma City. Are you sure, Chris Broussard? And former Jets coach Eric Mangini talks a little Jimmy Garoppolo. Lastly, we talk about the future of Chris Paul. Does he stay with the Clippers? Go to the Spurs? Ready for Speak For Yourself? Take it away, Cowherd.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Whitlock's out today. The founder of the big lead, Jason McIntyre, is here. Former NFL coach 2 times Eric Mangini. Super Bowl champ Eric Davis. The NFL draft, one of my favorite things all year, is tonight. Let's start there. All eyes turn to the Cleveland Browns, who've been on the clock with the first pick since the season ended in February. Now, reportedly, Myles Garrett is the Browns' most likely choice. But there has been some speculation they can make a splash with quarterback Mitchell Trubisky. Cleveland hasn't exactly been crushing it in the draft these past 18 years or so. All right, Coach, do you think they can get the number 1 pick right?
Yeah, do I think they can get it right? Look, they're committed to a system, and they believe in this system, and they brought analytics into it, and that's what I like about it. I like the fact that they're going to ride with this, and this is a whole new world for the NFL. It really hasn't been a part of what we do, so I'm curious to see it from that perspective. What I will say about the quarterback is if they really believe that he's the guy to lead them for the next 10 years, then they should take him number 1 overall, because there's no guarantee that if they go and get Garrett, that they're going to have Trubisky, whether they move up to 4 or 12, you know, that can ebb and flow pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, of the last 10 quarterbacks taken number 1, not a lot of Peyton Mannings, but 9 are still in the league. Like, we talk about the quarterbacks that don't make it. Generally, if you take a quarterback number 1, they stick in this league for a while. This is the argument I've made with, like, a Kirk Cousins. You may not think he's Manning, but I'd still argue he's a franchise quarterback. And if Mitchell Trubisky, I mean, I look at this, guys. He completed 68% in college. That's kind of one of those thresholds that in the NFL, if you did it, you work. No interceptions. He's up there with Luck, Mariota, Russell Wilson, and he's thick. He's a big, thick kid that can move a little. There are some things to like, right?
There are some things to like, but I don't think those things are likable enough by the Cleveland Browns. I'm looking at this team, and I'm kind of thinking for them to get this right, because there's nothing in their history that makes me believe that they can get this first round right. Just forget the first pick, but the first round. I mean, Sashi hasn't done anything just as of yet. I mean, last year you passed on Wentz. He could have been your quarterback. You didn't like him. I'm going with the analytics on this one also. If you think that the best player on that board is Garrett or another pass rusher, go get him. That's what you need to do as opposed to screwing it up on the quarterback, because if everyone else is looking at Garrett and they're saying that this is the guy, everyone else, all these other GMs are saying that this guy has the don't miss talent, then you don't get fired for being wrong about that guy. If you're going to go get this quarterback because you think Trubisky may be your guy and he's not your guy, you're going to be starting everything over again.
I'm shocked here, guys. I have no faith whatsoever in the Browns. It's like when I put a plate of dinner in front of my kids. What are they going to reach for first? The carbs? The vegetables? Come on, this is the history of the Browns, making bad decisions. Okay, they've got the owner who apparently wants Trubisky. The coach, who's a quarterback guy, he wants Garrett. And then the stats and the analytics say, let's get Garrett. So there's no good structure happening in Cleveland. And you were there, Coach.
Look, the whole history of the Browns isn't bad. I thought Alex Mack was a pretty good first-round draft pick. And I thought Joe Hayden was a pretty good first-round draft pick. But that, we can get back to that later.
7 other years, though. I mean, Coach.
I agree with you on those.
Those were the only 2 I was there.
We actually have a chart. I think we can call up a chart here showing how many misses they've had from 2011 to 2016. Look at this, Coach. I mean, it's half those guys aren't even on the
Could I make
anymore.
an argument, Coach?
Look at that.
Eric, could I make an argument?
Yeah, you're in the clear, Coach.
Let me make the argument.
Okay.
Some of this is blind luck. Like we've talked about this. Who is the expert in the league on drafting quarterbacks? Everybody passed on Derek Carr.
Yeah, everybody passed on Derek Carr. Everybody passed on
Drew Brees.
Dak Prescott.
Tom Brady, Dak Prescott. There's no sure thing. And there's no sure thing in terms of Myles Garrett either.
Agreed.
There's the top first-round defensive player or first overall defensive player is Bruce Smith back in 1985. And the other guys that have been number one overall, there's been some that have had some good careers, but nothing that's the dominant game changer that you think of that you'd want for that pick. You know, there's no guarantees in this thing.
Listen, if you think about analytics is generally, whether it's the Houston Rockets in the NBA, the Blackhawks in the NHL, or the Browns, analytics is largely going against conventional wisdom. Like Belichick, you go for it in fourth down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But when you look at the numbers, you probably should go for it more on fourth down. Major League Baseball, walks. Daryl Morey with the Houston Rockets. Don't ever shoot a two. Either dunk it or shoot threes. You can kind of make the argument that if you think Trubisky, regardless of how good he is as a quarterback, if everybody thinks he's a franchise quarterback at some level, even at Kirk Cousins level, you have to take him number one.
The problem with that, though, is you're talking about a small sample size for the analytics. 13 games, Colin. The guy threw for 58 yards and 2 picks against Virginia Tech. Okay, this is a guy, 13 games. How can you trust him? How can the analytics say he's our guy, number one overall?
There's been college coaches that have been wrong in the past. Brady, didn't he split time his senior year?
Yeah.
I mean, they
started more than 13 games, though.
Yeah, and you look at Ryan Tannehill. Wasn't he a receiver at one point? He went quarterback, receiver. So you can't just say all the college coaches were right on the guy. I mean, there's some mistakes made there as well. I'm with you, Colin. If you believe that this is the guy, whether you take him 1 overall, 4 overall, or 12 overall, if he doesn't work, it won't matter. You're not there to draft the next quarterback. You're getting fired. If this is the guy, 1 or 12, it doesn't matter.
I do feel you on that. If you think that he is the guy that can be your quarterback down the road, that's it. But I'm saying if you're sitting there and if you're looking at one of these, if you don't feel that way, that's my thing.
Well, then get out of there.
If you don't feel that way, then there's no. You're right. That's when you go with the numbers and say this is the best player out here. Other than because the numbers don't apply to a quarterback. I'm with you on that. If you think he's your guy, you go with him no matter what anyone else is thinking.
And if you believe in the room he's your guy, here's what it does. It adds stability to an organization that's had either 13 or 18 quarterbacks in the last 6 years. To another guy, people will be watching tonight's Deshaun Watson. Now, the Clemson Stars draft stock has fluctuated a lot, but according to one NFL scout, Watson is, quote, better than Dak Prescott and is a total winner with top intangibles. All right, J-Mac, you buying that Deshaun's better than Dak?
Come on, of course I am. Deshaun Watson had a sterling college career, 32 wins, national championship, beat your Alabama Crimson Tide. 2015 against Alabama. Do you remember what he did? They had like 7 draft picks on that Alabama defense, had over 400 yards. You remember what Dak Prescott did against Alabama in 2015? Nothing. 2 picks, 300 yards passing and a loss. I'm telling you, Deshaun Watson, here are the numbers right here. Deshaun Watson
First of all,
destroyed Alabama 2 months after Dak Prescott could do nothing against that defense.
The good news is Alabama isn't on any of the pro schedules.
That is very good news.
And Dak Prescott has actually played against pro teams.
Yeah, you know, because you look at what Watson did. I was about to say that Alabama team had 10 first-round picks. I saw Dak come back and win games with teams that had a roster filled with pro prospects, okay? That's the difference right now. I have more faith in Dak Prescott because I've seen him do it at this level. Yeah, he can improve, but I already know what he can do at this level.
The Alabama argument is what it's become is the blogosphere's heaven. Here's the bottom line. Chad Kelly ate up Alabama twice. Marginal player. Johnny Manziel ate him up. When Nick Saban was at LSU, Chris Leak ate him up. It doesn't mean anything. The bottom line is Nick Saban in 20 bowl games is 11-9. He doesn't have all the answers. He's dominating the SEC. He has 1 national title in 4 years. He's not the magic elixir for everything. He's a heck of a football coach. When I look at Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott, Eric, you've done this. Every coach makes mistakes. The NFL just made a mistake on Dak. If Dak was available today, he'd be the overwhelming number 1.
Because of what he did in Dallas, right?
Well, yeah, but because of the NFL, they did it with Russell Wilson. We've talked about this. Drafting a quarterback, everybody passed on Drew Brees, Brady 5 times. The NFL butchered Dak. It's okay, but if he was available today, he'd be the overwhelming number one pick.
One of the things that, whenever you talk about this, that comes up about Dak is the system that he's in.
Right.
You know, you look at the system and you look at all the help that he has, and I see you nodding your head right now, but what you do have to take into account is that he is in that system. He does play well within that system, and guess who's not going to that system? Deshaun Watson.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
And what I'll say, though, is we do have to just be cautioned with Dak Prescott. He's done it for 1 year.
That's right.
And remember, RG3 did it for one really impressive year.
Yeah.
So with any of these draft picks, we're going to talk about what a great draft team's had in a few days, and everybody's going to get a grade, A, B, C. You can't evaluate anybody's draft class for 2 to 3 years down the road. So with Dak, he had a really nice season on a really good team. Let's see what he does this year. And with Deshaun, I get it. We're not comparing apples to apples here. We've got pro tape versus college tape, so it's harder to project.
When I was comparing, I was obviously comparing the college to college. I would not compare pro to college. But Deshaun Watson, again, better career without question than Dak Prescott. You know, Dak never completed 67% of his passes at Mississippi State. He did that in the NFL in the Dallas system. So I think Deshaun, in the right system, Eric, could definitely succeed. If he falls, it's to his benefit. He doesn't want to go to Cleveland. That would be a disaster.
Well, he's not going to Dallas.
No, he's not, but he could go to Houston. He could go to Houston and succeed.
You know, here's the other thing with Deshaun Watson. Part of why I like him is because he was in games I watched. I mean, seriously. Like when I watched Matt Leinart, well, he was on like 12 games a year I watched. If all the NFL people, now think about this, everybody knows he beat Alabama. We watched him for 2 years. And almost and off of Dak's success. And people still doubt Deshaun Watson. This is not like he's sneaking up on us, like Russell Wilson, who transferred, or Derek Carr's at Fresno State. We've got a lot of information on Deshaun, and people are still, scouts are like, ugh.
Well, sometimes having all that information on a player can hurt a player.
Yeah.
So a guy like Mitch Trubisky, who has a limited body of work,
He does.
You can give that player the benefit of the doubt because you don't know for sure what he is. And some guys who've been in high programs against a high level of competition and been successful, you can see all their flaws because you've got so much more information. And that happens with small school guys too. You give them the benefit of the doubt because you don't have all that body of work. And then it's really not fair in the grand scheme.
You know, last year at this time, Carson Wentz, we were like, he played at North Dakota, he got hurt and they still won. We talked about a bunch of stuff. But in the end, why he's probably going to work is he's just a good athlete. Like with Deshaun Watson, I keep coming back to, we're picking him apart, but man, when I watch him play, he makes plays with his feet, he can make throws, he's quick, he leads. Like, are we overthinking the room?
Does he remind you a little of Marcus Mariota coming out of college? Again, similar systems, similar size, maybe a couple inches shorter.
Mariota throws a better ball. It looks like.
What I like about Deshaun is his intangibles. And I think we say he doesn't want to go to Cleveland, he doesn't want to go to... The reason you're going to one of those teams is because there are problems. And when you get a guy like Deshaun, hopefully his impact from an intangible perspective can be organizational changing, can be infectious. Guys can get behind that, and he can change the culture. That's the thing I like about him. Look, I think he's special with the ball in his hands, too. That's very impressive.
Agreed.
Is his throwing perfect? No. But are any of these quarterbacks that we're talking about finished products? So you get a guy with great intangibles, you get a guy with special skills with the ball in his hands. You know, there's a lot to like about him.
At some point, there's a lot of guesswork. To another quarterback with an uncertain future, Kirk Cousins. Now, Washington franchised Kirk, but the two sides are still far apart on a long-term deal. Now the Washington Post says the team should work out a draft day trade and move on from Cousins if they're unwilling to commit to him long-term. Let's start with you, Eric. Redskins trade Kirk Cousins? Think they should do it?
I think they should if they get the right offer because I think they're going to have a difficult time getting him back. After franchising him twice, and I thought about this going into this season, that if you have to franchise him again, it's going to signify to him that you don't have the faith in him
Well,
to give him that
hasn't that
deal.
already happened?
And that's what I'm saying. So now you're in a situation to where at the end of the day, if I'm Kirk Cousins and I get into this season playing well, why not just play it out, run the table, and go where you want to go? And I think that's the situation that he's going to leave them high and dry. So if they have an opportunity to get something right now, I think it would be the smart thing to do if you're Washington to get what player you want and draft picks that you want if you are capable of working that deal.
I think they've butchered this. You know, you and I had this discussion about 2 months ago. What you don't want to be at quarterback, just if I was selfish, I wanted to keep my job, is chaotic. We tend to say franchise quarterback, and we immediately go to the Bradys and Rodgers. But what a franchise quarterback is also Andy Dalton, that I'm not in chaos. Marvin Lewis keeps his job. They keep stability. Cincinnati's stable because they're not a train wreck. So to me, I think they butchered it. I would have never franchised him the second year. I would have said, guys, there's certain things in life you overpay for. A pool in Phoenix and a quarterback in the NFL. Just overpay for him. Because we can say what we want about Kirk Cousins. And I do think he was elevated by a good offensive coach, really good person. I mean, Pierre Garçon, Deshaun Jackson, Jordan Reed. But he threw for almost 5,000 yards. That's, coach, you just can't do that if you're a stiff.
There's a couple things. A draft day trade for a player is really hard to do because you can't get a physical on the player if you're the other team. And you're not going to buy something without knowing whether or not he's healthy and okay. So those things are hard to do, and then you got to build in stuff for the following year. So typically you don't see those. To me, with this situation, there's nothing better than a player in the final year of his contract. He's really motivated to be successful. So they have a player in the final year of his contract, and he'll play really well. And if he plays well enough to where they see him being the long-term answer, are they going to have to pay more? Yeah. But if he doesn't, they're not saddled with a giant contract. So everybody's hedging their bets. Everybody's going all in. We're going to see what happens. And at the end of the day, someone's going to make a lot of money or someone's going to lose a lot of money.
I'm with Cowherd. They played this so poorly, Eric. I mean, they clearly did not want to marry Kirk Cousins. They didn't want to offer them the long-term deal. They just wanted to date him, and that's a bad strategy. Like, you've got a guy, like you said, 52 touchdowns in 2 seasons, back-to-back winning seasons for the Redskins. They haven't had that in 20 years. They should have locked him up. So now, as you said, they're going to have to pay too much. I would unload Kirk Cousins, if I could, at the draft.
For what, though? We sit here talking about all the quarterbacks in this draft, and there's no feeling for any one guy. So you're going to unload him for what?
Well, it depends who the Redskins like. I personally like Deshaun Watson at 17. You slide him in. Are you kidding me?
So you're taking a known for an unknown.
Yeah, so that's the issue right now. You have a serviceable quarterback that can play and has played at a high level. The issue was the first franchise tag they got on him. I thought they should have presented him with one of those mid-level long-term contracts at that time, and he probably would have signed it. So they messed it up. Right now, you're throwing your franchise back if you get rid of him this season. You don't have a quarterback. So where do you want to be?
But aren't you throwing them back anyway if you play the season out with him and then you have no quarterback?
What Eric is saying, that you hope that he comes in, he plays at the level that you want him to play, and you say, we don't have a choice. We got to give him the 25, 30.
And it's one of those things, if he plays at that level, everybody's happy. The team's happy because they've won a ton of games. They go deep in the playoffs.
I think
Did they have to pay more? Yeah, but everybody wins.
But I think Kirk may leave in that situation. That's the issue. Because if Kirk plays at the level that we're talking about to where they're willing to offer that, the rest of the league will be willing to offer it as well.
College football's only given you about 1.5 quarterbacks a year. That's what Bill Parcells always says. We're beholden to what college gives us. It's given you about 1 Marcus Mariota a year. So, I mean...
Well, they gave you a Jameis that year,
Let me ask you this. If Trubisky is as good as Kirk Cousins, wouldn't that be a successful pick?
Yeah.
5,000 yards?
There's a lot of teams playing with a lot worse than Kirk Cousins.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, you need alternatives. It's easy to get rid of a guy. It's easy to throw someone in the trash. What are you replacing him with? You need to have an alternative. What are you replacing with him? And when we talked about Trubisky to the Browns at #1, if they don't take him, who is their plan B?
Well,
what are they comfortable
Eric, this is a guy who went to the owner and said, "Are you going to trade me or what? Am I moving on? Is this over?"
And the owner said no.
Yeah, but does that show like a sign that he wants to stick around Washington?
Look, is every relationship perfect? No, but he's getting paid extremely well to stay around Washington for 1 more year.
Welcome back. J-Mac here, joined now by NBA analyst Chris Broussard, longtime NBA player Jim Jackson. Let's move to Russell Westbrook, whose triple-double season came to an abrupt end on Tuesday against the very good Houston Rockets. Westbrook and the Thunder couldn't get out of the first round in their first season without Kevin Durant. But Russ is eligible for a massive contract extension this summer and has tried to squash any talk that he's looking for a way out of OKC.
I haven't thought about anything. Obviously, everybody know that I like Oklahoma City and I love being here. And You know, I love everybody here, but I haven't even thought about that. You know, obviously Oklahoma City is a place that I want to be.
All right, Broussard, you think he's happy there?
I do. I mean, he proved it last year. He didn't have to sign that contract extension in the summer. So he stayed there. I thought he proved it totally. And I don't think if he doesn't sign this summer, that means he's unhappy. I mean, we've all been at different networks where you didn't think you were leaving, but things change. So if I were him, I wouldn't necessarily sign. I'd wait and play it out. But I do think we've compared him to Allen Iverson in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Allen Iverson, nobody would say he wasn't a winner, that he was a loser, okay? But he never wanted to leave Philadelphia. After they went to the finals in 2001, they won one playoff series. That's it. There were years they didn't make the playoffs. He still was content. He wasn't like, I got to go here and win a ring. I'm going to try it in Philadelphia. If we don't, then so be it, but I'm going to go out with my guys. I think that's Westbrook. I think he's like, look, give me 4 guys, and we can beat anybody. And I think that's the tack that he'll take.
Interesting. That's altruistic. My feeling on him is he likes money, he likes trophies, he likes to be the guy more than he likes winning. There's a little Carmelo. By the way, there's a lot of guys like this. I'm not picking on him. I mean, Kobe, like LeBron James, he likes money too. He likes being the man, but I think LeBron would be miserable. He's proven twice. He wants to win championships first. I think Westbrook likes being the guy in the franchise.
I think LeBron likes being the man too.
Yeah. No, I do.
And I think the pressure on LeBron is more. He's put in the category of Michael Jordan, where if he doesn't win rings, you're killing. Yeah. Westbrook is nobody's going to judge him, I don't think, by
with house money. Though.
Yeah.
He's playing with house money because Westbrook coming into the league wasn't looked upon as the next great point guard.
Exactly.
And he's also one of those players, I think that's ironic, where his brand is his brand no matter where he goes. He's defined himself the way he dresses, the way he acts. He's a loner by nature in regards to he doesn't have a crew around him.
Right.
So whether it's OKC or LA, whatever it is, Russ is going to be Russ, you know? And now, will things change if they don't get the right components around them? Maybe down the line. But I truly think, talking to some people, that he truly enjoys playing in OKC. But when Chris started, you backed up like you don't believe it.
To his point, Allen Iverson didn't chase rings in 2001. It's become much more sexy around the league now to ring chase. That's much more popular now than it was before. But at any rate, I do believe he's happy now. You know why? Because he's calling the shots. He had that commercial that came out when Kevin Durant left, now it's my show or whatever. And I think right now he's happy because he's got the stats. He's got his hardware. He's going to win the MVP. He's
going to get $220 million.
Well, wait a sec, though. Is he looking at Carmelo Anthony, who demanded big money in New York, and now Carmelo's soured? He's not winning anything.
But
wait a minute. Carmelo's not
making the playoffs.
But that's not Westbrook's attitude, though. He don't care
for
what
now.
somebody
At
else.
what point does he say, hey, Jim, I'm winning a lot of stats. I'm winning MVPs. I'm not winning any rings. What's my legacy going to be? A bunch of dunks?
He may get, as Jim said, he may get to that point. But I think right now he's more in the Allen Iverson mindset of, look, and like you said, I want to be the man. I'm maximizing my individual ability. And with the guys that Sam Presti gives me, we're going to try to win.
Listen, people are wired differently. They just are. I mean, like Tom Brady wins the off-season workout award, won't drink a beer. Like, that's not necessarily Joe Montana's life. I just think Russ, I mean, like, I don't necessarily appreciate all this, but he's wired differently. Like him and LeBron, they just think differently.
Yes. Yeah.
They just see the world differently.
But do you think there's something to Tom Brady maybe being wired at 35? He's like, I'll take less money. Meanwhile, Westbrook's 29. What if he's got this master plan? Hey, I'm going to use OKC for a year. I'm going to pad my stats. Hold on, enhance my brand. I'm in more commercials.
This year,
yeah, and he's got the triple-double. Now he's got the MVP, his brand and his marketing. He's much more in high demand. His jersey sales went up this year. What if he's using them for a year and then he's going to go and ring chase with the Clippers or Knicks?
He didn't have to re-sign. He could have played there this year without signing.
Here's the thing: ring chase where? His game is only going to fit in so many systems. He's not going somewhere, San Antonio. It's not going to work. So the longer he waits in regards to ring chasing, the less opportunities he's going to have because his game is going to stay the same.
Listen, I've worked in this business for a long time. There's a lot of people that want to be a big radio star in Denver, and they don't want to go to a big network and be the number 3 pitcher. There's nothing wrong with that. That's his choice. I'm okay with it.
You know what else you need to be careful? There are certain players, LeBron James, Kevin Durant,
They go to different places. They're going to be the man. And Westbrook, he would get stats wherever he goes. But look at Darren Williams. He was on a Hall of Fame trajectory, wanted out of Utah, never was the same. Dwight Howard never was the same after he left Orlando. So you have to be careful, too, leaving where you know the system.
Ken Griffey left Seattle. Nobody loved him like Seattle. They always say in baseball, like, nobody loves you like the team that drafts you. To the Clippers, who are down 3-2 to the Jazz. Actually, a very interesting series. Season on the line in tomorrow's Game 6. Now, our good friend Mac here just wrote a piece on the Big Lead saying Chris Paul should get out of L.A. after the year and sign with the Spurs if he wants to win a title. Now, Paul can opt out and become a free agent this summer, but the Clippers can offer him about $70 million more than any other team. All right, you tell us, J-Mac, why CP3 should abandon the Clippers.
Well, he's got no shot with the Clippers going anywhere. They haven't made the conference finals. This is their 6th year with the loaded team. Can't even get to the conference finals. That's like Dominique Wilkins territory. I hear this Chris Paul's the best point guard of this generation. Dude, he's not even John Stockton. He's not even anywhere near that class.
Not even
He's
John
got to go. John Stockton's a Hall of Famer. Chris Paul. Listen, Chris Paul, I don't know what his Hall of Fame trajectory is. Maybe you could fill us in.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, okay. Because he got past the second round, right? So I think he goes to the Spurs. That's his shot. Team up with Kawhi Leonard. You got LaMarcus Aldridge. That's a good team that could contend with Golden State.
I think it's really easy to say you could just give up $70 million.
Exactly.
Well, he's made $140 million in his
You know what? You're not giving up. Colin, here's the thing. I hear people say this all the time. If you really want to win, you're going to give up the money. Stop it. You're not talking about the difference between $2 to $3 million. Yeah. You're talking about 70. Yeah. 70. That number you can't get back. I don't care how many endorsements you get, what kind of product lines you start, what business you start. That's $70 million you can't get back. And that's a tough dilemma and a tough dynamic to look at when you're talking about what is the best opportunity for me for the rest of my life. I do want to win a ring, but is it worth giving up $70 million?
Well, and Chris, you brought this up too, you look at the Clippers and you're like, this is awful. But if Paul George went to the Clippers tomorrow, I'm like, dynamic. And by the way, Curry and Durant have a history of injuries. Golden State, this window's going to close quicker than you think. They're good. I think they'll win this year and maybe next. But if I said Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Paul George, and they fortify the bench.
No, I'm with you.
That's pretty good.
I think it depends on what the Clippers get this season. You're right. If they can get Paul George, and I don't think this move would put them over the top, but what if they get Carmelo Anthony to go with Blake, Chris, and DeAndre? I think that would keep him there. If they offer him 5 years, I'm pretty sure he's staying. If they only offer him 4 to Clippers, then he'll look elsewhere. Now, I'll defend you a little bit because I do like him in San Antonio. Yeah. I think he would be good there. I think they would have a good shot. We talked about it earlier. He'd have to change a little. He wouldn't pound the ball as much in that system. But I don't think that's a terrible idea.
Hey, let's back up here. Where's this Paul George to Chris Paul, Blake? Where's this coming from?
Well, look, George wants to go to L.A.
Yeah.
And the Lakers aren't in any position to win. And if they don't get that top 3 pick, even if they do, they may not look like they're in position to win. Paul George doesn't want to go there and be mediocre, maybe miss the All-Star game year after year. He could go to the Clippers in the same city and have a chance to win.
The one thing I would say in support of your argument, I think there are 3 players, athletes in America, Mike Trout, Andrew Luck, and Chris Paul, where I think their organization has failed them. Not always dramatically. I mean, Andrew Luck got to an AFC championship. But if you look at the Colts, you're like, Andrew Luck hasn't had the great support. Look at Mike Trout, some of those contracts. I look at Chris Paul. In a 3-point league, he's had the clunky, often hurt Blake Griffin. Doc's the coach, GM. I guess sometimes I am a fan. Chris Paul is an old-style point guard that sometimes doesn't fit in the new style. I think he's a really special player.
Oh, I think he got a 3-year window to kind of figure it out before you start really chasing, to see what in regards to at top level to play, to see what the Clippers are going to do as far as making moves. Because after that, he can still be a valuable asset to a team like a San Antonio or somebody that's viable where they need a backup point guard or a starting point guard that knows how to play.
If he wins a ring as a backup point guard, even a point guard averaging 11 points,
he's not going to like it the same.
Trust me.
This is the Speak for Yourself podcast featuring the best of Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock. I'm your host, Jason McIntyre. Fun show today. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, also SoundCloud, YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow. A lot of draft analysis. It's going to be a blast. Don't screw it up, Jets. Talk to you tomorrow.